I said I'm going to be consistent, and here I am. The best way to understand something is to break it down into smaller pieces. Every problem, everything has a lot of layers. I find that a lot of times people have a very superficial approach to anything. Whenever I ask myself, what is the problem? What is the issue? Why is it that you can't create? Why is it that you can't have the life that you want? A lot of times we'll say such thing as habits, it's patterns, come from your childhood. It's maybe your government that hasn't, or the society you live in that hasn't given you the opportunities. Now, every time I try to break it down and go deeper, I come to this conclusion, which is you can't really fight the system. You can criticize it, but there is no way there's no way winning over the system. That's never going to happen. It's too big, it's too deep, it's too strong. The only way out of any system, out of a situation that you don't like in your life, is to create another one. The only way to create anything else in your life is that you need to have time. Without time, you can't have the clarity necessary to create a new thing that you already don't really know. The 40-hour work week is the root of all evils. That right there is designed so that it keeps you confused, disappointed, controlled, and you get to a point where you know, even subconsciously, that there is no way out. The easiest way is for you to be frustrated, annoyed, or maybe to go out in the streets and protest against the system. That's never going to do anything. It's never going to bring any change. If you had more time, you would be able to come up with something new. I know you don't have the answers, but you would 100% have come up with a different solution to your problems. But they've made you think that what you need to chase after is a promotion, is more money, is to work an extra shift, is to keep you scared that, you know, if you don't work enough, if you don't work even over 40 hours, you won't be able to pay your bills. You think of that as a sensible, logical person, and you're like, yeah, the prices are going up, life is too difficult, I have to work more. That is going to solve me the problem. Working more. It's so ironic that the answer is not in working more hours, it's working less. Like, you need to have a plan of how you're going to do it. Every beginning is difficult. Working 40 hours and 50 hours is extremely hard. It keeps you controlled. It's not just the 40-hour work week is going to keep you controlled and drained and counterproductive, but it knows very well what it's doing. It knows that if you had more time, you would come up with another system. And that is the problem. You coming up with a new system for you, where you're not reliant on the old system. You're not reliant on somebody else's creation. It's really worth to see what is that you can do to get you there, to get you to a situation where for at least 6 months or maybe even a year, you can go from 40 hours per week to say 30 hours per week. Having those extra hours for you, just that alone, it's going to give you so much time for yourself that there's no way that you physically, spiritually, mentally are not going to come up to a different conclusion and plan for your life. There is no way. And everybody has a lot of goals, and so many times we talk about freedom, and money definitely gives you freedom, but you're not going to have access to that money unless you have time to figure out how or what is that you can come up with in a creative way to generate that wealth. You need time to access your creativity and your productivity in order for that to give you the wealth that you want. It's not the other way around. If there is any goal that you want for your life this year, next year, have this one. Figure out how you're going to go from 40 hours to 30 hours per week. You will never regret it, ever. You should be able at some point, if not this year, next year, to come up with a plan. I don't know if that means that you need to move out, maybe from an expensive city that you live in, and maybe you need to go and live somewhere else. If you need to get a remote job, whatever it is that you need to do. I don't know how long that's going to take you. It's going to be different for everybody, but that should be your priority. That should be your goal instead of chasing wealth. I promise you, wealth will come in your life after you find yourself in a creative, in a productive way. You are way too drained, way too tired, way too distracted to be able to build anything, to be able to come up with any idea. Is just too much. You need more space in your head. As simple as that. It's been around 100 years since the 40-hour work week has been established. So financially, it doesn't make any sense. It has already been proven. There are so many countries in Europe that have already run a 30-hour work week and have proved that the productivity, if it didn't remain the same, it increased in many, many, many cases. So the only reason why that is still in place is because the lobbying is so deep and so big that has convinced the system that you having less hours would be too rebellious, would be too aggressive for the system. Just for this month, I decided to work just 30 hours. So I'm still going to be doing a lot of social media. So I'm still kind of working, but it's different when you're working for yourself. It's different when you're doing something that you control your time and the narrative of how you're going to do it, who are you going to do it with. You're in charge. So it doesn't really compare. And just the fact that I will be clocking out earlier, that alone makes me sleep better at night. The fact that I will be working less and I'm not going to be part of such a problematic, toxic system. And I kind of like removed myself from that, even just kind of like for a month. Hopefully I might be able to do that until the end of the year. I don't know. But just that alone, just those extra hours that I get to keep for myself truly have changed me. I feel so strongly about this, and I want you to do it. I want you to try it. I want you to somehow convince yourself that this is going to be your next goal. If this is going to be the biggest priority. It really, really matters. And if more of us get to do it and more of us can tap into something else that is sort of more productive in a way, who knows what we can come up with? Who knows what we can create? So I encourage you and I invite you to come up with a plan that is going to lead you to work less. Just take that leap of faith because it's really, really, really worth it. Money is surely an important thing and something that everybody's after, right? Because it can buy you so many things, including freedom, which is ultimately what you want. The idea of having money is so that you have control, because money equals control and power. So if somebody is paying you, that means that that someone has control and power over you, and which leads to you being less empowered every single day. And so if you have some sort of self-sufficiency financially, and you should, then that's how you become more empowered, because now you have that control. Because it's not so much about what you can buy with that money. It's more about you being in charge of your own life. And it's not even about how much money you can make on your own. Even if you can make less money on your own, it would be 100 times worth it than working for somebody else. It's not worth it. It's all about control and power. And somehow you need to get that control and power back, because these are the things, even like subconsciously, that will make you more empowered. And if you are more empowered, then the system slowly starts to die, because you don't need it. You need it less and less and less and less. So don't think of like, oh, I'm going to be doing my own thing, or I'm going to be self-sufficient financially, and I'm just going to be rich. So it's not about being rich, right? And when we talk about freedom, it's about you. It's simply about you being in charge of your life. That's all there is to it. Of someone else being in charge of you financially is an insane concept, and we don't talk about it as much as we should. I love when we complain about the system, because even when you complain about the system, you're making it bigger, right? Even if you're saying something negative, it doesn't matter. You're still making it bigger, because you're giving too much spotlight on its existence. First video that I uploaded, I said, well, you got to kill the system. That's how you become more empowered. But these are the things that you got to start from, and just little by little you get your power back, and then you empower yourself. That's how you start, and I feel like most people can do it. It's not that hard. If I can do it, and my pay is already bad, but if I can do it, then most of you can. But it's about detaching yourself from the fear and just focusing on that, because I know people don't even focus on that. They focus more on complaining about the system rather than coming up with a plan that makes the system irrelevant. These are the small things. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the build up, brick by brick, brick by brick. You're not going to get up and be like, oh, fuck the system, I'm going to do whatever I want. It doesn't work for us working class people. Start from somewhere. And yeah, having financial independence, it's truly important. And just kind of like detaching from the system in a financial way, and not making you believe that, well, actually I got to work more, and I got to do another shift, and I got to do another shift. Just detach yourself from that. Whatever it is that you need to do, plan it, but stop asking for an extra shift, and just find more time for yourself and come up with a plan. And if that plan doesn't work, come up with a second plan and keep working on it, keep doing it, and we're getting somewhere. These are like small steps, but I promise you we're getting somewhere. This is how you empower yourself. You got to break it down. You got to start small, and this is what you got to do. Time is so important. So I don't know if that's any food for thought, but if we empower the working class, which is the majority, these are the billions and billions of people, to understand and feel like they don't need the system, I mean, that's a win right there. So yeah, If I made even just one person to truly consider this as their next goal, or to put it as a priority in their life, that's a win for me. Subscribe to my channel to engage in conversations like that. I think we're onto something, and I'll see you soon. Bye.